Anthony. When?
But I'm part of the crew.
No. Alumni, sweetie. Move. Friends and family, welcome back to another episode of Dintshang with DStv. My name is Lorato Orapeleng, aka Los Do the Most, aka Madam Top Life, and aka the Hood Lady to you. Today we are doing all things DStv as per usual. We're talking about the best in home entertainment, the best in film and television. Your told stories that are authentically African are brought to you live right on DStv. Today I'm going to be joined by beautiful ladies from a program designed by MultiChoice, which is called the MTF for short. In full, it's called the MultiChoice Talent Factory. They're going to be talking about their experiences on this 1 year long program, which is beautiful because I am also an alumni of the program. So ladies and gentlemen, join me as we introduce our guests for today. Welcome to Dintshang. When we talk about the MTF experience, it takes me way back to the year 2019 when I was a part of the cohort. And today I'm talking to another fellow officially alumni, Refilwe Pudi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on Dintshang.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about you. Who is Refilwe Pudi? Tell us a little bit about yourself. We want to know you.
Shame. I am amazing.
I love this for you.
No, I really am.
Yeah.
I do a lot. Hey, I'm a filmmaker, television presenter, radio presenter, voiceover artist. I honestly do a lot.
You're the multi-talented.
Yes, if my hand can fit into the cookie jar, best believe I'm grabbing that cookie.
Thank you so much, Lala, for joining us right here on Dintshang with DStv. Please tell us about yourself.
Like you said, my name is Lala. It's actually Larona Dichaba, but I prefer to go by Lala. It's simpler, everybody understands it.
Yeah.
And I'm a film graduate. Graduated AVDA. Graduated AVDA.
We're actually in the same year group, and that's why we're talking about it.
We were.
Let's talk about your, from graduating at AVDA to now having to become a part of the MTF class of 2022.
So it was going from film school to MTF.
Yeah.
It was, it kind of felt like a similar experience. The only difference was it was like crammed into one thing, so it was really hectic and really fast.
Yeah.
And the entire time felt like I couldn't catch breath. But it was really lovely. It was beautiful.
Maybe let's talk about the step-by-step. I mean, from the moment you heard about the program itself to you having to apply online, what was your experience like?
So the first time I heard about it, somebody sent me a link. Somebody in our year group actually sent me a link and said, "Hey, you should apply to this." And then I looked and I was like, "No, not for me. Not for me. Been there, done that. Nah, I'm tired."
Yeah.
And then somebody I consider a mentor, sent me the link and said, "Apply. This would be really good for you." And I was like, okay,
Second person, I gotta do it.
The universe is speaking.
Yeah.
So I did it. I applied, and then I completely forgot that I applied.
Oh, yes.
I forgot until one day I was just randomly checking my email, and then I see Pimpa. Congratulations. I'm like, what?
Who's Pimpa?
So initially I applied because I was scared of what lied ahead. I had just graduated, so am I gonna get a job? Am I gonna get money? What am I gonna do? Oh, hey, let me run back to school. Not knowing that running back to school is actually a big blessing in disguise. The interview, well, I applied hella Sentle on the last day. I sent in a motivational video because I feel like I connect more face to face. Although they couldn't see me face to face, it was still cool because they got a bit of who I am. Threw in some nice lines and I got selected. And I think I really made a good impression because when I got to Zambia, the academy director as well as Pimpa were like, "Hey, we really wanted to meet you." Pimpa's like, "Chris told me that there's a smooth talker from Botswana and we just had to get her into the cohort." I'm like, that's me. So it was great.
Talker.
It was. I wasn't really scared because I can talk my way through a lot of things. So I knew that everything would fall into place.
Who inspired you to apply?
Who was it?
No, that's a joke. I mean,
Okay.
we're part of the same school, prior to you becoming a part of MTF, so which is great. I was nervous. I remember my interview very well because I was probably the most nervous girl I've ever seen in my whole entire life.
Did you do yours face to face?
Yeah, it was before COVID, pre-COVID.
See, lucky you. But for us, we did it online.
Yeah.
It was I think maybe that's why I was a little bit relaxed, because I wasn't like looking at the big people in the room and then I'm like, oh my God.
Well, lucky you then.
True.
Yeah.
So I wasn't worried about messing up or anything. The entire time I was just there chilled. Then my eyes would go to that person over there, go to that person.
The little corner on the screen.
A little corner in the screen, and then make sure that you're smiling.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, after then you got selected to go and represent Botswana at the, at the academy in Zambia. You had to move to a whole completely different country, Zambia, ma'am.
And so we first started it online, which was amazing, because then you get to know the people. You're not just thrown into it last minute, and then you have to like, hi, my name is. We all knew each other online.
Okay.
But by the time we moved to Zambia,
virtual classmates.
We were like,
this is what I liked about the COVID era to some extent.
Yeah.
You guys just had it online.
We just had it. So when we met face to face, it was like, hi, hey, I know you. So there wasn't like any type of awkwardness.
Yeah.
It was winter when we got there. God bless winter.
Yeah.
Okay, if we were to package academics and put them aside, it was a crazy culture shock.
Yeah.
Because I think number one would be the fashion. In Botswana, we are more, wear what you want, do whatever. And that side, it was more conservative.
Yeah.
So adapting to a different culture was really scary, but extremely fun.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience just moving to a different environment, learning their culture and living it. Academically, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Because now I can't, run to my mom's room if things get hectic or if I have something exciting to tell her, I can't, barge into her room. But it was still cool because it made me grow up and it made me realize that I actually do have the potential to move, pack, start afresh and actually kill it.
Nice. So what was the highlights of your whole entire experience? 1 year is a long time.
It is.
Yeah.
I think for me, the highlights was, let's see, George Mungai. He is at the top. He's a production designer from Kenya, and currently they have a show called Salem and Kina, which we know to be Gomorrah and the River.
Nice.
So they adapted it and they're shooting it.
Sorry, just to interject. There's also like a lot of adaptation. Even the river has got its own name.
Yes, it's called, the river's called Kina.
Yes.
And Gomorrah is called Salem.
Ah, nice.
So it was amazing. At first we met him online and he was showing us, he's a visual facilitator. So instead of telling you that, okay, do this, he would show us pictures, he would show us videos. And I fell in love with production design from there. When we met him in Zambia, it was so much fun. I had actually watched a couple of episodes of Salem and Kina. We were breaking it down and just him telling me how the adaptation came into life. That was amazing. Meeting Justin Davis, I got to do a nice little sit down and interview with him. And he's an Emmy Award winner. And for him to also put that into me and tell me that you can also connect to this blessing that I'm currently living in right now. It was really fun. And the immersions. You go from watching Mpali to being on the Mpali set. And to have the director tell you that you're actually an amazing director and you're going to go far. It was beautiful. I had so much fun. And I think another highlight is me now branching into costume as well as production design and sound. Because I graduated a writer and director, but now I can say I'm a filmmaker because I do all of these different components.
Meeting Bobby Heaney.
Oh, yes. Oh, my word.
Oh, yes. God. That man walked in there and then he's like, hi, how you doing? And he didn't even talk about who he was or anything. They had to like ease us into it. Then I find out, oh, this is the guy who started series in Africa and he did Igoli. And I'm like, I grew up watching that show. I was like, I watched Igoli and then a part of me was like, I want to do film because of things like that, Serafina, stuff like that. And then to find out that the man who did some of the greatest things in Africa is actually there in the room with us. That was like
mind-blowing.
It was mind-blowing. And the beautiful thing about him was that, and most of our facilitators, was that they saw opportunity in us that at the time we couldn't.
For sure.
They were seeing things in us and then they'd be like, hey, you do really good here. You do really good here. You do really good here.
Wow.
And then it's like, oh, okay. I never thought that about myself, but now I want to try it because you said it.
Yeah.
And
what did he discover in you?
Acting.
And Lala's just the writer and director. That's all she's always seen herself.
That's all I've been doing.
Yeah.
That's all I've been doing. You know, I've always been like this, narrow-minded.
Yeah.
But then when he was like, are you an actress? I'm like, should I be?
What else was your highlights? I mean, you mentioned that you have like a whole list lined up.
A whole lot. Another one was we got a facilitator from the States. He's worked on Selma. He's worked with Spike Lee, Justin Davis. His name is Justin Davis. And it was a highlight meeting him, but the greatest highlight was meeting Bradford Young.
Okay.
The cinematographer for Arrival and a lot of Spike Lee movies. And it was mind-blowing because a couple of weeks before that, I'd been watching a video and he was like one of the only black cinematographers at the table.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how you need to find yourself, you need to know yourself as an individual for you to be able to like project stuff into film, for you to give people content, you need to know yourself first. And then next thing I know, Justin Davis is like, hey guys, I want you to meet my friend. And I'm like, okay.
Who's your friend?
Who's your friend?
Who's your friend's from the US?
Next thing I know, the man is on screen and it's like Bradford Young. I started crying. I'm so embarrassed, but I was crying.
But that's a beautiful memory. I mean, from the program, there's a lot of things to learn. You mentioned the fact that you discovered the fact that you can act, and I think that's what I like about MTF a lot, because you keep finding yourself as you navigate. I mean, what else did you learn about?
Another thing, it was. This one I think is more of a blessing. So you know how we do the 2 feature films at the end of the
program?
The program.
Yeah.
So then we did the first one, and I directed the first one. Then the second one also came along, and I was also given the opportunity to direct that one as well.
Okay.
And then I think doing both films kind of showed me a lot about myself and the team that I was working with.
And both teams?
Both teams. It's the same team, just different films.
Okay.
So in the first films, we're a kind of way. And then our dynamic was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when we shifted to the other film, our dynamic shifted. Not in a bad way, in a good way. So then I started thinking, oh, this is actually pretty interesting how an exact same group can act so differently for 2 different
stories.
Exactly. So then I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I would love to do it again if I could.
You know, I remember learning things like how to write a script Bible. I mean, I graduated as a producer, but here I am today. I can talk about all things production. What was it like? You know, what new things did you learn in the program?
I think I learned about the realities of pitching. At AVDA, we have a different type of way of pitching. And now when you now get into the MTF Academy, you now learn a whole different way of doing things. I think also another thing that I learned is you don't need to have a million cameras to get all of these shots that you need. Just one camera, that's something Bobby taught us. One camera, position it in such a way that you can get 4 different angles and you're good to go. I think also another thing that I learned, apart from the technical aspect, is just how to relate with people, how to deal with people. I think being in that environment showed me that, hey, Rifile, yes, you are a superstar, but you're not that perfect. You've got some growing to do. And I think if I never went to Zambia, I wouldn't know where I'm lacking and what I need to work on to become a better filmmaker.
This one has a lot to do with personal growth than technical, because MTF is film school condensed into 1 year. But in film school, you take a lot of things for granted that you can't take for granted in MTF. I learned that I can be very patient. I did not know I was patient until I got there, and I learned that you need to have patience as a virtue. I learned that you need to market yourself really well. You need to be able to speak to people. My cohort friend will tell you, a group of people could just walk in and she already has everybody's names, everybody's contacts. She knows everything about everyone. And then me, I'll be in the corner, I'll be like,
what am I going to say?
What am I going to say?
I get that.
So then, I learned that from her, actually. I learned that from her and a couple of other people, that filmmaking is not just about being a very technical person. It's also about being able to put yourself out there, talk to people, connect with people. And that's one of the biggest takeaways, really,
from the whole experience.
Exactly.
I mean, now that the experience has come to an end, what are we going to see La Ronadi Chaba doing? What are her future plans?
Ooh, I have a lot.
Oh, you have a lot?
I have a lot.
Too much.
But I will never stop filmmaking. I can't stop filmmaking, but I am going to branch out into other stuff now. Like I said, Bobby Heaney said I could be an actress. I'm going to be an actress. I've done like some of the things I've wanted to do. I've directed, I've written, I've done almost everything except that. So now that's me branching out into that. And in terms of like local filmmaking and all that.
In Botswana.
Yeah, it's honestly give back, you know. I think that's one thing I've learned. When I was there, I picked up a couple of skills that we don't necessarily have here, and then there's something that can be implemented, ways of guerrilla filmmaking that you can just get a film done. Also, Botswana is so relaxed in terms of like laws. You can really just pick up a camera and then just go shoot something, and then you don't have to pay, you don't have to go through all those things, you don't have to do a lot of stuff, and then you just learn to be grateful. You learn to be grateful. You're like, I can do this here. Other people back home can't do that. They tell you that they get arrested. You're coming out with your camera, and then the police are just beating you down. Like, what are you doing?
It gets a bit hectic.
You know? But
I get that.
This side, it's so much easier to make films. It's just the drive for it.
I actually came from Zambia. You know what? I am going to be on a break. I'm not doing anything. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but fortunately for me, people want to work with me. So it shows me just how much I've grown and just how much they believe in me. So I'm jumping into everything and anything that makes me wake up in the morning and just sets my soul ablaze. So yeah,
that's
yesterday,
what MTF does to you.
That's what it does.
It sets your soul on fire, you know.
So we're back to filmmaking. We're back to being on set. We're back to yesterday when I was on set, everybody was asking, what did you learn in Zambia? How can we improve in Botswana? So I can't wait to just share that with everybody and just inspire other young girls and boys that actually want to take this as a career.
I mean, I'm going to take you back to that same statement you just mentioned. You're working already with local production companies. What are you currently working on actually?
I actually wrote a couple of episodes for Botswana. It is on DStv. Really interesting, really fun. So yesterday we went down there. We were acting in a couple of scenes, or I was actually acting in a couple of scenes.
So you act
also,
and write.
Listen, there's nothing I can't do. You can't hold the queen down. So apart from that, yes, it was also just assisting on set. I didn't want to jump into it because these people have been shooting for the past 4 months. And for me to appear on the last weekend suddenly start saying, let's do this, I decided to just ease into things, keep quiet, watch what's going on, and then come in, which is also something that I learned from MTF.
I mean, before you left to Zambia, you were just a graduate at ABDA, right? You did say. You know, when you look at your journey between now and after graduating from MTF, how do you see your improvement as a production person?
First things first, I now believe in production value. Secondly, I think I've come to terms with the fact that I won't always have a 1 million pula budget to shoot a film, and I need to know that, hey, it's not in the money, but it's what you do with your resources that like works in your favor. So even if I have a young 200, not really, but a young 200, I can still make sure that
US dollars or thousands?
US dollars.
Oh, okay.
I can still make sure that my film or whatever I'm working on comes out great. I think also another thing that I would like to reiterate is the working with people. So now I'm in a better position to know that, okay, this is Losto. I tend to her like this. That's Lala, Kema Prochayana, this is Refile. So now I know how one blanket won't fit, one blanket won't cover everybody. But I just need to adapt according to personalities.
Okay, fantastic. Now that we can officially call you an alumni.
Oh, thank you.
What do you have to say to somebody who's about to start their academic year at MTF, or anybody who's aspiring to apply for the program, because it's going to go on for decades and such a long time to come?
I think there was something that my grandmother told me the day I was leaving, and I think it's something that people should just keep at the back of their minds. She said to me, don't speak out and tell people that you can do something. Just do it. People will notice you. So then to
show,
everyone,
not tell.
Yes. And I had kept that all the way through there. So I think for people who want to apply for this, I think it's always best that you stay true to who you are, stay true to what you believe in, stay true to what you've been told, what you think will reap the best results for you. Because it's easy. The reason I'm saying this is it's easy to get there and then get caught up in the hype. And then you completely forget everything.
It's not easy to get there though. You have a whole entire selection process to go through.
You know?
But I understand completely what you mean.
And then you get there and then it's like, oh, all these things, and then you meet all these people, and it's so easy to lose yourself in all that beautiful havoc.
I I think, and this is something that I answer almost every single week, expect the unexpected. Expect to have fun. Expect to be pushed to your limits. Expect to come out and, rise like a phoenix. Just expect to make the most out of yourself. I think if there's one thing that I learned from the film industry is it's so important to get your foot through the door, because if you don't do that, when given an opportunity, then you're going to keep on knocking for Lord knows how long, So I think also just be open-minded to the other opportunities that MTF comes with. Going to immersion, getting there, learning. You might end up attached or something. While you're in Zambia, there's other opportunities. Like I had the opportunity of working on radio, working on some productions, acting in some productions, and just open your mind to the fact that there's more than academics. You're doing this for your future. You only have one shot, 1 year, so you gotta make it work.
It's been great catching up with our MTF alumni who had both beautiful stories to share about the experience of the whole program, and it's also a good opportunity for us to appreciate what MultiChoice is doing for African creatives in the film industry. So ladies and gentlemen, from me, Lorato, Orapeleng, and the rest of us at MTF, it's a goodbye. Hold on.